How are you doing? Well, yesterday's video, I'm doing this one just after I taped the last one. I couldn't look at the right place. Just did, but I had the iPad at a different angle. So I kept looking over here, but it just didn't feel like I tried to show my blood sugars like now. It just wasn't working. So let me just go over our numbers from yesterday. 74% time in range, 26 above, 74 in range, 0 below, so that's chef's kiss. Average sugar in millimoles is 8.6. My current blood sugar is sitting at 7, so it's all pretty good. There, that feels much better. Today, however, we're going to discuss a major topic, and that is diabetes care. What are you doing with your care? Well, that's what we're going to discuss. So sit back, again, grab your coffee, your tea, and let's sit back and discuss. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, most diabetics, not all of us, but most of us, were diagnosed outside of the healthcare system. And for me, I was kind of just showing the classical symptoms, and my mom picked up on it, took me to the doctor, and we ended up being admitted into the hospital. There was no big emergency, though a lot of times there can be. But type 1 diabetes and diabetes care is how we learn in the hospital. We know that in the morning they'll come around, do blood sugars. Usually it's extremely early. Here, if you get a nurse who's worked in the hospital, will come and wake you up at 5:36. Oh, I've got to have your numbers for report. No, we are doing it 4 times a day. No, I have to. But you get into the routine, so you know that you have before lunch, you have the blood sugar, you figure out the carbs, then you give the insulin with the nurse watching, and then you have the afternoon free, and before dinner you do a blood test. You do the same routine, and they check to see where your blood sugars are. But you're doing it on their time. And when you get out, and before, I would always try to do the care I received in the hospital at home, and it didn't always work. Because, first of all, getting up at 5 a.m. didn't really work, and then I would be up, and if I was working a night shift before, just trying to get that whole system working into my life didn't work well. And it took me a while, and it took me when I finally got to see an endocrinologist, got me to learn the better way of doing things. I got my diabetes care into my life. I know before I eat, I usually have to do a blood sugar. Now, I just take a look at my phone. Oh, I'm 7. Okay. I'm going to have 90 carbs. Let's type in 90 carbs. And my pump gives me the insulin. I don't have to take out my pen or my syringe and insulin, give myself a shot. The pump for me was the saving grace. And even with that, my first pump they stopped supporting it, so it didn't really have an impact on my life. My first Medtronic pump is the one I consider to be my pump. I can remember typing in, there was a key fob with it, typing in the amount, and then it would play back that amount, and then I'd press yes. But I would do that, and it still wouldn't be. You're sitting in a meeting, trying to get ready for lunch, and at work, we only ended up having half an hour. So doing a blood test, waiting for that to be back, now blood tests are down to 5 minutes. The first blood tests I did were probably about 10 minutes to do. They weren't that great. But care nowadays is very much more relaxed. If you're on the pump, as I am, my good old friend the pump here, allows a lot more free time. But you still have to check your blood sugars. Oh, that's not that bad. I'm 6'8", I've dropped down a bit. But take that. You still have to figure out your carbs you're going to eat. You're going to type them in. And then if you're at a business meeting outside, you may not be eating right at noon. So the hospital schedule doesn't really work. And that's where I say life gets in the way of diabetes. Now, did I really use that as an excuse? Yeah, I think I did. I think I was just getting lazy and didn't really want to do it. It was always easier. Just go back, I'd get up, I'd sleep till sometimes 10 to 11, get up, have a quick shower, was out the door, and at the till by 11, and worked 11 to 7, came down, didn't really eat breakfast, would just go and lie down, would take insulin. Sometimes in the afternoon I'd wake up just totally drenched. And those were warning signs that I wasn't taking care of myself. They're great at giving you the tools of how you're to do your job. I took it to heart. It finally, hey, boom, you could have been doing this all along. But I wasn't. I didn't take my care serious. Now, It was a doctor, Dr. Clarissa Wallace, who really kind of did not give up on me. I'd given up on me a long time ago. I was saying my diabetes couldn't really be controlled. Even when I tried to control it, I couldn't get that damn control. Couldn't get the blood sugars in line. In my mind, I was thinking diabetes control is just your blood sugars are always at peak, but they can go up, they can go down. They're kind of fluid throughout the day. But did I realize that? No. I wanted them to be damn well perfect. And now, my blood sugar, my hemoglobin A1C is showing a normal blood sugar. My last hemoglobin A1C was 5.5, which most non-diabetics, don't get that close to blood sugar. So now they want me to ease up a bit. All my life, I was always trying to get the perfect blood sugar. Now I'm there. It's kind of like, oh no, you have to ease off because it will kill you. Well, I'm more worried about high blood sugars and complications. I already have eyes, I have problems with my feet, I have diabetic neuropathy, I have gastroparesis. So all of those could have been for the years that I really wasn't taking care of myself. So now, first thing I do when I wake up, I check my blood sugar. Next, I'll wait till the nurse comes in. I tell her my blood sugar. We wait till breakfast. I type in 91 carbs. Now, here I have about 91 carbs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They all, maybe 95 for one, but they're all pretty close to the 91 figure. They're pretty substantial. My afternoon snack comes in at 51 carbs. My evening snack comes in at 43, so they have pretty healthy portions. And I think it's to keep the morale up. So diabetics here are treated fairly fair, and they double check their blood sugars up to 4 times a day. Myself, do I check my blood sugar at 4 a.m.? No. I don't have to. I don't even have to wake up anymore. What was my blood sugar at 4 a.m., you asked? My blood sugar at 4 a.m. was 10.3. So I'm not going low in the middle of the night. In fact, usually I'm pretty stable. Today, I was stable, but I was high. I think 10 was my lowest, and then I was pretty much 11, 12 all night. So I get enough hospitalized, if you want to call it that, long-term care of my diabetes. So awesome to that. But for those who are out in the real world, I would say use the hospital system as a guide. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you because, it gets boring. Have to try to get your life and diabetes care and marry the two. Meaning, where diabetes will be part of your life and you part of the diabetic. Sorry, and your life intertwined. You have work, you have school, whatever, but the two have to be met. And you can come up with a system, just stick to that system. Get input from your doctor, your diabetic nurse, your dietitian. All will come up with neat ways. And your endo, don't forget your endo. They can come up with neat ways to help you with your diabetic care. Okay, that's it. Have a great day, and it works so much better this way. We'll talk later. Bye now. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me